Alright, today we're going to do a tier list on all of the ascended units in Grand Summoners. So, on the left side we have the tier list, and on the right side we have all of the ascended units in the game. So we can go run over their kit real quick to make sure we're getting an accurate representation. So we're going to start with Luana. And on the tier list we're missing Valentine's Liza and Valentine's Sistina, so I'll just do those at the end. Slots are kind of meh. 4-star heal is cool. AC by 30%. Whatever. I mean, if the boss has evasion, this will help a little bit. Cool. Attack up isn't that good. It falls off really quick. Her true art is like her main thing, I guess. It's really not that good. 180% damage. Like, that's a lot, but with ascended units, it's really not that much. Light res, enemy below 30 HP. This is way too low for it to make it twice as effective. This should be like at least 50%, if not like 60 or 70. This just, like, the boss is already dead. This one's pretty good, but her passive max HP up is kind of nice, but the kit just isn't that great. So we're gonna put her in C tier. Alright. Kirisame. Kirisame, in my opinion, is the best taunt tank in the game. And I don't think there's really an argument for anybody else. So slots, these are just normal tank slots. Like, you wouldn't expect anything else. Onart's by 30, pretty good. Reducing burn res, that helps with his art has burn, and one of his passives takes like, yeah, 20% DR against burning enemies, so. Okay, true art, this is how you start his third eye, or true third eye if there's another human on the team. And then you can use the damage barrier, but the super art is just a bigger one. I just use the super art all the time. And it has the cleanse 2 damage res debuffs. So like on Uga, the one, I don't remember which chapter it is, one of the chapter boss fights, you use Kirisame and he just cleanses like the damage res debuffs. Those are the ones that look like little like claw marks. They're red and blue. So he's really good for those. If the boss doesn't have shield killer, he's like, you just use him and you just won't die. In third eye or true third eye, increase damage res by 30%, 20% more against people who are burning. Physical res by 20% if he's in true third eye, which is if there's a human on the team. I didn't even know he did this. This is cool though. Alright, so Kiri, best taunt tank in the game. Really tanky. I don't think that many people like him, but I might be wrong. I'm putting him in SS. He's just the best tank in the game. Like, besides, we'll get to it later. You already know who it is, but we'll get there. Kokuri. This is just Hoka, but way worse. So we got the support slot, pimp, magic slot. I don't think the magic slot is that good on her, but I might just be wrong. Own arts gauge by 30, that's pretty low for an ascended unit. Especially like one like this. Reduce enemies damage res by 20% and crit res by 100%. Crit res by 100% on an art is pretty cool, but I don't know. That could be good. 30% feels too low though. Like 50 would be good. A 200% fire res debuff. Maybe not on a true art though. Maybe if it was like 40% and it went up to 160. But a super art increases all allies crit damage by 200%. She's just a way worse version of Hoka because Hoka has increased all allies crit damage by 300% and 7 arts a second for the whole team for like 25 seconds, I think. So, and she came out on the global. She came out after Hoka, so she's kind of just whatever. Skill CT up, increase all allies magic res by 20%. That's cool, but not that many bosses deal magic damage. That's whatever. So we're gonna put her. I'll do all the reordering at the end, but we're gonna put her in C. All right, Hazuki. I do like Hazuki a lot. She's really good. This I don't like as much. I would like it if she had a support slot or a defense slot. 2 5-stars. It's kind of whatever. 2 5-star physicals. Because I have her true equip, and then I just never know what to put here. Because I don't really have any good arch gen for light units equips. But I don't even know what I usually put here. Sometimes true Izanagi. But right here I just put like Fen's shorts or a dignified silence. Reduce enemies damage res by 20%. It's just like a 20% damage buff. It's whatever. This one is good. When after you get the true art up, you do the true art twice. You get the arts damage. So this enters her third eye, and if you have all allies above what HP? 90% HP. If all your allies are above 90% HP, it increases her attack and accuracy by 100% when you activate the true art. And then if you do it again, you get arts damage by 130% and damage res by 30%. So that is pretty strong buff. And then if you use her art, like if you're not using her on a light team, you don't really need to use her super art or unless the boss has evasion. If you didn't get the true third eye, you can use the super art and then you'll have AC up. But otherwise I would just use the true art and then use a bunch of arts to get the 150% damage up. The damage res and the arts damage up. Arts damage up, you don't see that much. There's a couple other units I can think that have it, but it's like a pretty rare buff considering how many ascended units there are. So we're gonna put Hazuki probably in like A tier. Cause she hits really hard. She has AC up for whatever you need AC up for. Like bosses with evasion. And then the damage res is really good. 30% damage res from a non-tank unit that goes for the whole team. It's just helpful. So she's going in A. And then we're on to Long. Long is a bleeder, just a damage dealer, I think. I don't think he really does anything helpful. Reduces enemies water res by 100% on a super art. It should be more than 100%, like 150. But it's not, so. Slots, physical, defense physical, pretty good for a damage dealer. 30 is low for a damage dealer. 80% chance to inflict disease if the enemy's bleeding. You don't need disease that much, but when you do, I think he's one of the only ascended units who can inflict disease. Yeah, I don't know if anybody else can. But there's 2 ascended units that can inflict bleed, I think. Him and Halloween Charlotte. So, and you need bleed for, what is it? The Fongyan chapter quest. Like, chapter 26 or something. I don't remember. Her chapter, I think. But other than that, like, he's just a really niche unit. You don't really need him. Doesn't do that much. But when you do need him, you need him. This right here being on the true art is kind of like meh. If it was on the art, if the bleed was on the art, it would be a lot better. Because Luan's bleed is on his art. And that just makes Luan better for that specific stage. Because the only reason you're ever going to use Long is for bleeding. And if it takes 200 arts 200 arts to bleed. It's just not as good as Luana. Super art, own attack by 100%. That's not that good. Reduce enemies water res by 100%. 100% is too low for a super art. This is pretty good. And then Ack Up was bleed level 3, but to get to bleed level 2, you have to use 200 or 400 arts first, and then to get to level 3, you need to use 600. So that's kind of like, that's not gonna happen too often, unless it's like the final boss and it's a really tanky boss. Overall, I don't know, I just wouldn't use them unless it was for that specific chapter quest. All right, War Hero Fen. Let's right there. This is the first ascended unit, and I don't even know, he's busted. Slots are like perfect for what he does. Increase own arts by 50. That is really good, and especially the passive down here, Tactics. Where is it? At the start of quest, increase all allies' arts by 50. That is insane. Like, that's just 200 arts up. Just being him. It's busted. And then his skill gives him another 50. That's 100 arts right away at the start of the quest. Increase all allies' AC and equipment CT recovery by 40%. This is really good. If you need accuracy up, it's there. And then equipment CT is always good. You just make your equipment more useful using it again and again, especially on support equips and defense equips. And then increase own super crit by 20%. It's not that much, but it's not a true art. This does hit a little hard. Increase all his arts by 4 seconds and crit rate by 100%. See, this right here, the increasing crit rate by 100%, that's much better than a crit debuff because it goes through stages. So like when he's so fast, he just makes the game easy. Because you just pop a true art right away. Like, so you get the 50 right here, you get the 50 right here, and then you use your support. I don't remember what his true equip does, but I think it gives like 35 or 25 arts. But you can get to 200 arts really quick, and then you get the true arts off right away. This will probably clear all the ads by itself. It does a lot of damage because of the super crit. And then your whole team has crit rate up for 20 seconds. And that goes through the stages, so then you can just use all their stuff on the next stages. It just makes it so much faster. And then the super art increases super crit by 40% and crit rate by 100%. Increase own attack by 100%, whatever. But this hits hard. Like, hard. This is a nuke. And on him, it's crazy. He's just like one of the fastest units in the game. He makes everything easier and way faster, and that's why he's SSS. He also has this when he's the leader, damage res by 30% for 45 seconds. That's just busted. Like, just having 30% DR passively for 45 seconds. Like, you'll just be using him and you won't even, like, without knowing that it's helping a lot. This is wonky, but whatever. Helps his case, I guess. He's just one of the best units in the game. Top 3 for sure. Alright, Demon Edge Berwick. He's cool. Slots. Kind of trash, but that's okay. He just has more aura than everybody else. Look at him. He pimp. Reduce enemies fire res by 50%. That's a pretty good skill. Increase, I mean, if it had arch gen, it'd be better, but it doesn't. Whatever. Increase fire allies arts by 20% or 20. All stats by 30%. A 30% heal on the art is kind of crazy. So what you do with him is you use a true art and then an art, and then you're in Magia Drive Unlimited. And that's where you get attack 100% up and unlimited arts damage by 50%. So it just gives him a little bit of a buff, but I'd say it is worth it. It's only 300 Archgen to get it. And this heal always helps. It's insane. 30% heal whenever you need it. It's just bop, and then boom. Super art, the defense ignore is helpful because some bosses are crit immune, and then so crit is defense ignore and a damage multiplier. So if they go crit immune, you lose the defense ignore. So if the boss has crit immunity, you just use a defense ignore, and you're cooling. So you need a unit with a defense ignore if they have crit res. He kind of just does a lot of damage and has a little bit of a heal. He also has allies' physical damage up by 200%, which is really good. And because of that, I'm going to put him in B. Because he has a bigger buff than all of these units. And he has a heal. And I think he does more damage than all of them except maybe Long. Long might do more damage, but he just helps out the team a lot more. Because they don't help out the team like at all. I mean, they do. They're all like, but even that, his damage buff is bigger than theirs. Just better. Alright, SSL, or on JP, SGL, slots, it's whatever. Like, if you get her to LB7, this heal is insane because of her passive, increase on HP recovery amount by 20%. If you get the heal and then you get Shackle of Aspiration Betzwald, 4-star heal equip, that heals like crazy, especially on light, because it's a 40% heal to light units and a 20% heal to everybody else, and then if you get another 20% to that 40%, I don't know what the math is there, but it's a lot of HP. It's like a 50% heal or something. It's crazy. Her skill is busted. This is its, like, I don't know who stacks with this, but it's not that many people. Like, you can use this with almost everybody. To give everybody 24 Archgen every 12 seconds. That's pretty good. And it gives her 30. So she's a little bit of an Archgener. I mean, that's not her main thing. Reduce enemies' magic res. I rarely ever use her art. It's whatever. Mainly, you're going to be using True Art, Super Art. So you just start with the True Art, increase allies' equipment CT by 60, and light allies' damage by 150. That is insane. Super Arts, increase allies' magic damage based on HP 300% if she's full HP. 300% damage buff and 150% damage buff. And the equipment CT by 60% is insane. This will like make sure most defense equips, probably like half of them, you can just use them all the time. Like they're just up constantly. And that's why she's SSS. She is like the only argument for her not being top tier is because all the other magic units are trash compared to the physical ones. But still, she's just SSS. She's like, the equipment CT is stupid. And the Ether Recast, you can just, if you hold on the equip after you use it, it resets it completely and you can use it again. You can do that once per quest. And that's really good if you're nuking, because then you can just put on a Gensh Pence or something like that, and boom, that's 100 arts gen. And then the magic equip, you can just double it. Double them all. Double the heal equip. If you do LB7 her, she's definitely an SSS. If you don't, you could probably move her down to SS. But still. I got her LB7, so she's SSS. Definitely would recommend LB7ing her. It's definitely worth it. And Noble Flame Mira. Noble Flare Mira. Track Star. She's a pimp. 30, whatever. Physical res by 60%. That's pretty high for an art. This is pretty good Archgen. It is type B though, so just be careful. You're not going to be able to use her with Isliid or HK Roy or any of the Awoken type B Archgeners. And then Super Art. This does hit pretty hard, and it's got a really cool animation. This is kind of tragic. But I mean, since it's not tied to any of her arts, it's just passive. It's still pretty good. Poison res by 80% is a little weird. Don't know why that's there, but it's there, so cool. Again, 30 HP is too low. Basically already dead at that point. If it was 50% HP, it'd be cool. Alright, slots. They're cool, I guess. I mean, I think physical and a magic is better than physical, physical, or magical, magical. And then the 4-star heal, you can slap like a blessed necklace on her, something. She's pretty cool. But I'm gonna put her in B, just because she's a little bit of an arch-gener. That helps everybody out, especially the fire units. And she does hit pretty hard with the super art. Okay, we finna speed this up. Miranda, Valentine Miranda. She poisons. Most bosses are immune to poison, otherwise she'd be insane. But she's not. So, we're gonna put her in C. She doesn't do that much. Okay, Valentine's Priscilla. Really good healer, really good arch-gener. I don't know what type arch-gener she is. I think it's F. Yeah, F. Super arts, physical damage by 150, damage res by 30%. This damage res is good. I think she has fire. Yeah. Wait, where is it? Okay, no, that's a different unit. Whatever. Slots really good, especially the heal. That always comes in handy. And her art cures status ailments. That is really good. 50% of their HP on an art is insane. If you just spam this, you'll probably never die. For most content, unless it's like a nuke or you're getting fainted. True art, arts by 4 a second. Fire res by 50% is whatever. 100% would be cool. 50% is whatever. But you're mainly just using this for 4 arts a second. Yeah, if I was using her, I'd probably do true art, super art, and then occasionally art when I need a heal. I think she's pretty good. We're gonna put her in. I don't know. I want to put her in A or SS. I'm gonna say because of the 50% heal, she's gonna go in SS because you can just heal the whole squad. Aristella Orbis. She's a breaker, water breaker. Slots is cool. Evasion by 20%, whatever. Allows arts by 4 a second for 15 seconds. On the art is pretty cool. I don't know what type it is. Break res by 80%. I think that's the biggest break res from the, unless maybe Sagiri. I think hers is like 70 up. I think this is the biggest break res from an ascended unit. I don't know. I know she's a good breaker, especially if you paired her with HK Roy. I'm sure she would hit really hard because HK's Roy True Art has like 100% 100% breakup for water allies. Super arts. I mean, it has a heal on it, but this is just way too long. That's 1,500 arts to max it out. Takes forever. Yeah, you just use her as an arch-gener. You could get away with her as an arch-gener, but definitely just a breaker. I'd probably just swap arts and true arts. Never really using the super arts unless you need the heal, because this just takes way too long to get up. We're going to put her in A. Just because I think there's only 3 breakers. 3 ascended breakers. I think she's the worst one, but still. She heals a little, so she's cool. Demon Lord Vox. Alright, this is the first wonky one. So, Demon Lord Vox. Arts by 50. Pretty good, pretty good. Increase all allies arts by 20. Reduce enemies dark res by 60%. A little bit of arch gen. I mean, I don't think you ever really use his arts. His slots are 555 though, which is insane. This unit is definitely one I would LB7 if you have a mono dark demon. That's why he's wonky, because right here, super arts increase demon allies status or stats and AC by 60%. If you don't have a demon team, he's just not good. And then increase demon allies arts gauge by 3 a second. If you don't have a demon team, He's just not good. He really doesn't do anything on teams that aren't for demons. So that's why we're gonna put him right here. Like this has nothing to do with it. He's only good. He's really good if you have a mono demon team. If you don't, he's not good at all. But if you do have a good mono demon team, LB7 him for the support equip. And you can also put the Dark Abyssal Sands. Yeah, that's what it's called. Abyssal Sands right here for Dark Relics. Next up is Jay. Jay's whole thing right here is the passive. At the start of battle, increase own arts by 200. Battle means every single stage, like every wave. So on the first wave, you get 200 arts gauge, you use the true art, it's dead. Second wave, do it again. Until you get to the boss, you just do it. It clears everything. It's really fast, really good for farming. SS. I just really like how quick this unit is. Like, he's not going to be in the best team comps. Like, late game comps. You can definitely fit him in there, but he's not. I don't know. He's definitely one of the. He's like the fastest unit in the game, though. Probably the second fastest. Because he just gets 200 arts at the start of every battle, and then you just smack. And if you don't set him as the leader, he gets 60% ACK up, so even if they have evasion, you'll just slap him. I like using his super arts just to see how many times I can get it to stack, because 4 arts a second with, what is it, 100% damage up, stackable, that's just insane. True art, definitely you could just use this every single wave and get away with it. Slots, meh. Heal is cool, I guess, but he's SS. Just really fast. He's definitely like the second best character you can start the game with. Summer Iris, same thing as DK Vox. If you don't have a good fire team, she's buns. If you do have a good fire team, she's the best one on it. Like, if you had Kiri, Valentine's Priscilla, Sunraku, slap her on that team, boom, you win. Because of this right here. For 7 seconds, increase all fire allies arts gauge by 10. If they're not fire, they don't get it. Not good with anybody but fire. She's pretty similar to Hoka with this. So, arts damage by 250%. Hoka's is 300. Like, you would still always use Hoka over her, unless on a fire comp, because she has 30% DR for fire allies. It's 15 normally. All allies damage by 15, and fire allies get an additional 15. So 30% DR for fire allies. It helps Kiri out. It helps everybody out. That's fire. And her skill is insane. This is the best arch genning skill in the game. You use this before you use any equips, just so you can get the 150. And then, boom. You have 150 arts, and then you use everything else. You get the 300, spam super arts. Art, this is good for, like, miasma. Otherwise, I don't really ever use the art or the true art. I pretty much only use super art. She's only good on fire teams. That's why she's bundled up with DK Vox down here, who's only good on demon teams. And here we go. My favorite unit in the game, Summer Fen. Yeah, we're not even going to look at his kit. He is shit. Worst unit in the game. Worst ascended unit in the game by a long shot. He literally does nothing. Actually nothing. Alright, got a Celia. She's just a damage dealer and kind of a tank a little bit. She does have... How much super crit can she get? I think 80%. Yeah, 80% super crit. She does a lot of damage, but it takes a long time to get all that damage. So we're going to put her in B. Just because there's a lot of other people who just do damage better. Like, she definitely has, I think, probably like the third highest or second highest, probably third highest damage output possible. Or maybe fourth. But that's only after you use like a bunch of stuff. So she's going to go in B. Alright, Halloween Charlotte. She's another bleeder. I do think she's better than Long. On the super art, she has, what is it? Yeah, she can get a 300% physical res, which is insane. But that's after you use 600 arts, 900 arts. So that's gonna take a while. You're gonna have to use 900 arts to get a 300% physical res on the same enemy too. That's gonna take forever. So we're gonna put her in C. I still think she's above Long though. Like she's gonna end up above Long because Long just ain't that good. She does have a crit rate up and AC up, but still bleed units just aren't that good. And Halloween Valerie. Full magic. 4-star magic equip is probably like the worst equip in the game. There's no good 4-star magics. This is buns. 50 arts is cool. Attack by 120 on an art is pretty good. This being stackable is cool. I don't know how fast the animation is. That's pretty much all that matters on stackable stuff. Is how quick the animation is. Because you can always generate enough archgen to like do it infinitely. But it depends on how fast the animation is. Because if the animation's like a 9-second animation, you're only going to get it for 5. You're only going to get it 5 times. Which is still like, what is it? I don't even know. Like a 350% magic res down, which is insane. But Summer Ilia just does this better. This is cool, the resetting of magic equips, but damage by 200, because it's own, if it was all allies it would be really good, but it's own. And the defense ignore, I think it's only her. This is a pretty good passive though. All allies damage res by 30%, yeah. I'm gonna say she's B tier. Because of the damage res and the stackable magic res. I don't know how fast the animation is. That's pretty much all that matters with those. But I'm assuming you'll be able to stack it a couple times. Halloween Forte, the best Halloween character. Really good slots. Good skill. I didn't know she had equipped CT speed. That's really good. Increase allies arts by 4 a second. Reduce enemies dark res by 100%. This is a pretty good true art. She's really good on dark teams. That's pretty much the only time you'll use her. I think she's the second best dark unit in the game. Probably. And the super art is insane. All dark allies damage and break power by 200%. You pair her with Pencilgon and she's gonna, like, the breaks are gonna be insane. She's gonna be smacking. All allies damage. This passive is kind of buns. It's getting better. It's going to get better because they're adding more races. There are more ascended races. Like, Beta's a spirit, Alpha's a spirit, Delta's a beast. I think those are the only different ones. Everybody else is either a human, demon, or god. So you could get the full use out of this, but like the team just wouldn't work because there's just humans and demons on dark. I don't think there's a god. No. But still, I think she's the second best dark unit, and I'm gonna put her in SS. She's a really good support for darks. A really good break support, especially. And her slots are really good. Okay, and then we have Isliid. Mr. Aura. Coolest SP in the game. I think, just him and HK Roy have animated ones right now. I think Wargod Fen's gonna get one. But this man has the most aura. Purely on aura. He's going straight to SSS. Alright, equips. I don't like the magic, but because of his true equip, this is busted because he has the only 6-star true equip, and it gives him like 80% damage boost passively, which is insane. 5-star defense, really good. And then this LB7, this man to get this. It makes him a much better support. And for him, 20 arts is just straight buns. Paralysis and freeze res is pretty cool. 8 seconds for 11 seconds cooldown. I don't know. It's good though. Just, Like, you'll just be using it and you just won't get paralyzed or freeze, and you'll be like, okay, cool. His art is dependent upon which slot he's in. If he's the first one, you're gonna use this one. Magic equip CT by 30%, damage against gods up by 180%. If he's in the second one, you're gonna get support equip CT speed and damage against humans. If he's in the third one, physical equip CT and 30% against demons. If he's in the fourth one, he'll rotate between all three of them. I don't think you should ever put him in the fourth unit or the fourth position. I think depending on what you're using, you put him in one of these three. But I think I would like always put him in the second one just to get the equip CT speed. Because if he had a defense one, you'd probably want him to be in there, but he doesn't, so I put him in support. And then he has 7 arts a second passively, which is insane. True art, it's only 80 arts, which is tragic that it only lasts for 8 seconds because his animation is like 7 seconds. So you kind of just have to spam the true arts if you want to use him as just one of your archgeners. But if you have 3 archgeners on the team, I would say use his true art to get this damage res 120%, which is insane. And then use like an art to get the equip CT speed or a super art to get a big damage boost. Like this like chunks. And it's got like the coolest animation in the game. And equip CT speed by half. So make sure you use your equips before you use his super art because it'll just cut the equip CT in half every time you use it. And it's not like the max CT in half. It's just whatever it's at, it'll take what's remaining and cut it in half. And equip CT speed by 30 for everybody unaffected by status ailments. This is really good. I don't think it stacks with SGL, but he is an SSS. He is a really good unit. His damage buff right here, if you're fighting a human, god, or demon, this damage buff is pretty close to Hoka's. Alright, Anti-Heroine Pola. She's just not that good. She's another poisoner. Like, if you need somebody to get poisoned, just use her. But otherwise, meh. She's whatever. Alright, Ultimate Paladin Roy. Yep, that's an SSS. One of the faster units in the game. Pretty good slots. You need his true equip. It makes him way faster. This is cool. 80% chance to inflict ultimate freeze. You rarely gonna use that, but I mean, if you need to freeze the boss, it's there. True arts, well, yeah. If you don't have him ascended, he's kind of buns. But once you get the phantom bullet and the super art, you just use a phantom bullet. Everybody gets 200 arts. Then you use a super art, 7 arts a second. Physical damage 150% up. He's one of the fastest units in the game. And this right here is stupid. Physical res by 50% for 30 seconds. You just take half as much, like, you take half as much damage for half a minute. So if you can clear it in half a minute, you just take half as much damage. And that's insane. Own arts by 4 a second. Paralysis res by 80%. He's just one of the fastest units in the game. He's really good. And he happens to be on the best team in the game, which is Mono Water. And, who's next? Ainz? Hold up. This is the first crossover. We gotta find him. Ainz. Alright. Ainz is an Archgener. Slots pretty cool. Magic res by 20%, whatever. Or I guess that's on the skill. That's pretty good. Arts burn. Dark and fire res by 40%. I don't know the reason why it's fire and dark. That must be something pertaining to the anime. True arts. Crit res. Debuff. Tragic that it's not a buff. Buffs are much better than debuffs because they persist through stages. And his animations are probably the worst in the whole game. Like, they're cool, but the time they take is horrible. It's horrible. I think he needs just a buff. They either need to speed up the animations or they need to give him an extra art a second and an extra art a second for demons. So, like, he'll give 5 a second to everyone and 8 a second to demons. And then crit debuff, that's whatever. It's not that big of a deal that it's not a buff, but still, it'd be better if it was a buff. And then the super arts damage, I think this needs to be increase all allies crit damage by 200% and increase dark allies crit damage by 400%. Because right now, there's literally no reason you would ever use Ainz over Hoka unless like you're doing mono demon, mono dark, or the boss has water killer. But in every situation, I'm just using Hoka. He's just way better. Yeah. I'm gonna put him in yeah, A tier. I don't think he's that good. He's not my favorite. Just because Hoka exists. And Hoka just they need to update this man. He's buns. Like yeah, if you have him and you don't have another arch center, use him. But as a veteran, I'm never using Ainz. Never. There's no reason. Alright, Albedo. Um tank unit. Passive right here, the White Devil of Mercy is insane. The 50% HP heal is nutty. So if you use her on a mono demon team and you use your art 3 times, that's 30% damage res for demons. That's really good. And then you use her super art, that's 60% more. 90% damage res. Really good. You barely take any damage with this. And then if you use her true arts, you get a shield for everybody too. She's just really a really good tank. She's one of my favorite. Like Shirou is obviously better, but I don't like Shirou because he's just so good that he makes the game easy. Before I got Shirou, I used Albedo, and she wasn't nearly as good as Shirou, but like you have to use your brain to use Albedo. You got to use shit at the right time. Shirou, you just super art, and then you're unkillable. So we're gonna put her in SS. I do think she's better than Ainz, just because she's a tank, and if you have shield killer, can't use Kiri, and you don't have Shirou, if you use Albedo, she'll do it just fine. I do like her a lot. Alright, what's next? Shalltear. Just straight damage. Best non-super crit damage dealer in the game, probably. Or maybe not. Delta might be better. But she's got 3 magic equips. Buns. She does have lifesteal, which helps if the boss isn't immune to it. Dark, light res, you're never going to use the art. You're pretty much just going to go into a super art and then spam true arts forever. This doesn't stack with Hoka's, which is tragic, because that would be a lot more damage. But I don't even know what team comp you use her on. Probably like Monolight with SGL, Nabe, her, and Isliid maybe. I don't know. It doesn't. She kind of just does damage, and she's gotten outclassed. Yeah, we're gonna put her in B. She's just damage, and there's just better damage dealers now. Like if you need a damage dealer and you have her and you don't have any of the other ones, yeah, just use her. She does a lot of damage, and she's pretty self-sufficient with her archgen once you get her going. But I would just use other people. Okay, who are we on? Nabe. Okay, in my opinion, Nabe is one of the better supports in the game. I love Nabe. The 2 5-stars. If you have Gench Penches, put 2 of them on her. Boom. 100 arts to the whole team. Arts 20. Demons get 30. She's good on mono demon, as are all of the overlord characters, I guess. Like if you got all 4 overlord characters, that is a pretty solid team. True arts. This is probably like her main focus. Stats by 30%. That's 30% heal. Increase leader units arts damage by 200 and damage res by 30%. So if you use, I guess, if you use this with Gabimaru, you'd give him damage res and damage up, which is good for him because he's a tank damage dealer. But you use this on your DPS and they'll just hit way harder. I love the slots though. Having 2 5-star subs is just insane for subs. We're gonna put her in. I'm gonna put her in A. Oh, and she has increased demon allies ours by 50%, or 50, which is really good. Okay, next up is Ilia. Ilia is a little bit underrated. She doesn't have a support equip, which makes me upset. That's tragic considering she is a support. A little bit, at least. True Art, I think this is... Oh, this is type F too. This is just better than War God Fen's True Art, I believe. 30. It's whatever. This is really selfish, but overall, I think Ilia is probably an A tier. Passive. This is pretty good. You just get a 50 arts refund whenever you use it above 80% HP. Ack up by 30 is good. Yeah, she does hit hard with this super art, but her main focus is her true art. Just arch-genning and giving everybody crit rate. I honestly would put her over Ainz just because I just really hate Ainz. Don't like him. I want him to be good, but he's not, and it makes me upset. Like, if you're not a veteran, Ainz is definitely good. Ilia is really good. But, I mean, you would just never use him over Hoka. If you have Hoka, just use Hoka. And that's why he upsets me, because I have Hoka. Alright, enough of that. Miyu, really good damage dealer. Magic, Physic, Magic. I hate Magic 4 stars. They're buns. Skills, cool. Art. I don't think you really ever use her art. True art, you use it if you need ack up. Super art, this is pretty much like the main part of her kit. You just use it. Everybody gets a defense ignore. Human allies get 200% damage up. It just hits hard, bro. It hits hard. And she has 10 arts a second passively. And arts damage by 200%. She hits. She is magic, though, which is really sad. Because if she was physical, she could get paired with Shadow, and she would be way better. But she's not. She's magic, and I'm going to put her in A for having... Actually, I'm going to put her in B. She's cool and all. She does a lot of damage, but she really only helps the team with the 200% damage up. And even then, if you have her on the team, she's just going to be doing all the damage anyways. Defense ignore is really nice, though, when you need it. Chloe. Yes, Chloe. We're going to put her in SS. She's very good. The most tragic thing about her is she is a type E arch-genner. So she can't stack with Hoka, Sunraku. I always want to put her and Sunraku on the same team, but I can't because they don't stack, which is tragic. But she is probably the best. Like, she's not going to do the most break, but she's the best breaker because she's... So her break power up is on her true arts, which gives Archgen. She's better than Pentagon because Pentagon is either an attack or a breaker. Because Pentagon, if you use her true art, then her super art, it's for damage. If you use her art and then her super art, it's for break. But her Archgen is on her true art. So she can't be like an Archgener and a breaker. Because that's, like, you can't keep it up long enough. So I do like Chloe better for breaking. Just because she can fill the role of Archgener and breaker. Super art I rarely use. True art I pretty much just use true art, and then when I need to break I just use true art. And then super art maybe after you break I use a super art to get the fire res, just because her passive is insane. Whenever it's broken everybody gets 200 arts, so I just use a super art right after that, just for fun. And then the boss pretty much just dies all the time. That's pretty good. That's pretty much it. I think she's an SS. She's a really good breaker. And her slots are really good. 4-star sup is underrated. I mean, not really, because it's just busted. Everybody knows it's busted. Rin Luvia, pretty good unit. Really good mines unit. Not the best mines unit anymore. Probably the second or third best mines unit though. Behind Summer Miyu and Jay. But slots, pretty good. I mean, yeah, probably the best slot she's gonna have since she's a magic damage. I think. I don't really know if I like physical or magical more. But this Fire Allies art's really good. I think this is the same type as SGLs. But you're probably never gonna use. I mean, you can use them on the same team. But it's just good that it's on a skill. It's just free arch-gen. Her art is. This is like the main part of her kit, especially for mines. Like this is why you're gonna use this unit, is for her art because of this. Each time art inflicts burn on an enemy, permanently increase allies' damage by 30%, up to 300%. So if you're using this on ads and you burn like 3 enemies, that's instantly a 90% damage increase. And then you do it again, 90% more, up to 300%. You get it to 10 stacks, everybody has 300% damage up. It's really good. And it's passive, so it should stack with all like arts buffs. So that you use this against ads just to get a big damage buff, and then against the boss you'll probably just use a super art to get a huge magic damage and magic res. She's pretty good. Where I would put her, I'm gonna put her in A. But if you're using her in the mines, if it's like during the mines, you should always grab her, probably as like your friend unit. She's a really good friend unit. Unless they, I mean, Magic isn't as good right now, but if they have Jay or Summer Miyu, you might want to grab them instead. Unless you're doing like, I don't know, something where those wouldn't work. Some type of mines where those would. Shirou, we don't even need to look at his kit, but we're going to. He's SSS. Best tank in the game. Really good slots, probably the best you can get for a tank. UBW, you start with the super art. If you need to, you can do an art at the start just to get a damage barrier. Super art, you want his true equip because it's really good on him. It's not good on anybody but him because it doubles its effectiveness, like its duration on him. And it gives him 100 arts at the start of the quest, so you can get into the super art faster, or you can literally do an art at the start no matter what. So what you should be doing with him is get a super art to activate UBW. And during UBW, he has 30% damage res. And he deals a little bit of damage every 8 seconds. This, I don't really notice it, but it's probably doing a lot of damage. And he has paralyze and freeze res by 100%. Which, I mean, it's cool on him, but it's whatever because he's not a taunt tank. So everybody else on the team still might get paralyzed or freezed, which is tragic. But so you start with super art, you go into art, you have a ton of DR. Like this man will keep the whole team alive. It's insane. You use a true art for 100% phys res. Yeah, that's what you use the true art for. And then if you use his super art, it hits attack and damage by 200%. And he has dark damage and light damage up. 2 dark and light enemies, and he just hits hard against them. Like he is a tank and a DPS if you need him to be. But he's definitely the best tank in the game. You can just survive like everything with him. It's kind of stupid. He makes the game way too easy. Alright, Shalltear. Shalltear is pimp. Aura. Slots, good. This is crazy. 80 up is insane. All stats by 30%. That's just 30% heal on an art. That's really good. True art, damage by 100%, reduce enemies arc res by 70%. Pretty good. Super art, this is just damage. This is an insane amount of damage. Passive, really good passive crit rate. Yeah, she just does a lot of damage. She's a 30% heal. I'm gonna put her in B, I think, because she kind of does the same thing as Demon Edge Berwick. Except Demon Edge Berwick. I mean, On their true art, she has a dark res by 70%, and he has a physical damage up 200%. So, like, she's a lot faster, he's a lot slower, but his buffs for the team are better. She will do more damage because she has a super crit, but if the boss has crit res, use Demon Edge Berwick over her because he has a defense ignore. I don't know, she'd be hitting pretty hard, and she's pinned. Alright, Gabimaru, I stopped playing the game during this crossover, so I didn't get him. Didn't even summon on this banner. Tragic, I don't know much about him. Let's learn. Alright, slot's cool. 60 up is nuts. Flicked burn and increase own arts by 50. This is a good art. I mean, if you need to inflict burn, it's a good art. Like if you use this with Kirisame to get his passive. That's cool. True arts increase all allies crit rate by 100% and fire allies damage by 150. That's cool, but I know his super art is busted and it like smacks and it's really fast. His own crit rate and super crit by 30%. Alright, I don't know, but okay, and he has a passive super crit by 30%, which is really good. So on his super art, you can have 60% super crit. Yeah, and I think the animation on the super art is super fast. He's just a damage dealer with crit. He's kind of similar to um these two right here again. They're pretty close. I'll reorder them later, but he might do more damage faster. I don't know if he does more damage than Salter. Probably not, but he definitely does it faster because Salter has to like wind it up and he just like kicks him in the face and they're dead. Alright, Sagiri, she's a breaker, an earth breaker. Slots. This should be a sup. If it was, it'd be a lot better because she does archgen. Physical res, the arts is pretty good. This is a really good true art. I like that a lot. Super art, earth res by 120. I think that's the second highest. Maybe the highest. I don't know how high Luvia Ren's is. I think theirs is 100% or 120. But basically with her, you're just going to use a true art and then an art to get some break if you need it. And if you don't need break, just use a super art, get some earth res. This is really good. This passive is insane. Alright. Yeah, she's just a solid archgener breaker. I'm going to put her... I never got to use her, but I did get to play a multiplayer with her one time, and I remember her being really good. I'm going to put her in SS, I think. Yeah. No, A. We're going to put her in A. Just because she doesn't have a support. Alright, use... I don't even know her name, but she has a giant Fizz Res debuff. I think it's 200% at max HP. Yeah. True art. Is this... Wait. I don't know what type this is, but this is good. Really good true art. This is a wonky art. I think it's cool though. She does have a leader skill. If you don't have a unit with a leader skill, just make her a leader. Boom. 50% damage up for humans. Slots. I wish this was the other way around so you didn't have to LB7 her to get it. But don't LB7 her. Just suffer with the magic equip. I'm going to put her... I don't know if I should put her in SS. She pretty much just has a big physical res debuff. And she's an archgener. Yeah, I'm going to put her in A. Alright, Chobay. I think he's a breaker. Slots, cool. Yeah, so I think you just spam True Arts. This is a little goofy. So if you want him to do damage, just spam Super Arts. If you want him to do break, just spam True Arts. This is just like a better version of Combat Form Mim, it looks like. Oh, and the defense ignore is cool. Alright, break res by 40%. See, I don't know if I would use that or if I would just keep spamming True Arts. Maybe use this once in a while. But yeah, this lasts for 65 seconds. That's a long time. He's just a better version of Combat Form Mim. I'm going to put him in B tier, I think. I don't know how much he breaks, but I'm guessing Pencil Gun or Chloe just break better. And they can be Archgeners. Alrighty, Demon Lord Rimuru. One of the best damage dealers in the game, 555, really good. You can get her or him to LB7 if you want the physical. I mean, it's not needed. The heal is really good because you can get what's it called? An Abyssal Sands right there. 20% stats up on the skill is good because it just keeps him alive. So basically with this unit, you just art and super art, or you true art spam. I don't really ever true art spam. It's pretty much just art and super art. Because if you use the art, you get crit rate up, and then if you use the super art right after, you get 150 arts back. So you just use an art, super art, super art. And you're just generating 50 arts every time you do it. So basically your super arts are costing 250 arts. And then this being stackable, it stacks up and it just hits. It hits. It hits. It's hard. Pretty good passive. He's just a really good damage dealer and really good on Mono Demon. I'm putting him in A, I think. Yeah. Because at the end of the day, he's pretty much just damage. And there's other people you could use. Alright, let's get to Combat Form Mim. I hate this character because I've gotten 4 of her on my hunt for Demon Lord Rimuru. I had to pity DL Rim, and on the way I got a Diablo and 4 Mims. I was ready to crash out. Slots, meh. Basically with this, like, you're never going to use the art. Pretty much just going to use True Art or Super Art. And the stupid part about this one is you have to use True Art only or you have to use Super Art only, because if you swap, it resets the buff. And it's stupid. So basically, if you wanted to do a bunch of damage, you just spam Super Arts. If you wanted to do a bunch of break, you spam True Arts. And she's just worse than Chobay. She's going to go in C tier, and I hate her because she's evil. Diablo. Diablo's a really good, like, he's just an all-around good unit. He does a lot of stuff. He has Archgen. He's got evasion down. He's got dark res. Equip CT. He does a lot of stuff. He's really good. So his Archgen is the people to the side of him when he has over 90% HP get 6 a second, which definitely helps on Mono Demon because there isn't that much Archgen there. So the MDD team you usually see is like Ainz, Demon Lord Rimuru, DK Vox, and Diablo. But honestly, I would swap out Ainz for Shadow, because Shadow's the best dark unit in the game. We're going to put Diablo in A tier. I do like him more than Ainz. Sunraku. Sunraku is just War God Fen, but a little bit worse. So he doesn't have the ACK up Instead, he has evasion down, and he doesn't have the equip CT, which is a pretty good part about War God Fen. He has a physical res, which is, I mean, it helps you hit harder. And his true art, he arch gen a little bit more, but it's a debuff instead of a buff. The buff is pretty much better all the time, except on Sunraku. Like if the because of his super art having a crit buff too, if you use Sunraku and you use a true art and the boss has crit res, 100% crit res, you use a true art, you pretty much negate the crit res, and then the super art to get the crit rate up. So you basically have 200% crit rate up, and then you can crit through a crit immune boss. And this super art hits hard. Like this is a nuke. This is more of a nuke than War God Fen's. And if you have Delta's true bodysuit or whatever, her true weapon, and you put it on Sunraku, he's hitting hard. This 4-star physical isn't as good as Fen's 4-star support, but he is pretty much the same as Fen, except the debuff instead of the buff. No equip CT speed, and he doesn't have tactics, the passive. But if you have him on a mono fire team, he does give 15% damage res, which is really good. He's pretty much just War God Fen, but a little bit worse, so I'm going to put him in SS. Like, if you don't have War God Fen, he's a pretty good replacement. Because I never got War God Fen. It's the most tragic thing ever. Okay, Saiger. Nuker with a little bit of defense. So, Act by 20. Arts, this is a little bit of damage barrier. True Arts, this is just a damage buff. It's cool. Super Art, this is what you use. This is like the best raid nuker in the game because his True Art has a 220,000 damage multiplier. And the first time you use it, it doubles to 440,000, which is insane. He just hits hard. Probably the best nuker. Definitely for raids because you can have 7 support characters, but I don't know about just 4 units, him being the best nuker. Maybe not, because you do have like Sunraku and War God Fen who have super crits, and super crits definitely help. You have HK Roy with his Phantom Bullet. It has like a 250,000 multiplier and it has 100% physical res. And he's on mono water, which is just better. I mean, he does still hit really hard. I'm going to put him in B. But raid nuking, he's the best raid nuker. By a long shot. Because you can just buff the out of him. Alright, Pentagon. Where is Pentagon? Pentagon is the hardest hitting breaker in the game right now. Probably until Ascended Platina comes out. Slots, cool. I didn't know she had this on her skill. Really good skill. Arts, so basically with this unit, you're getting true arts for arch gen, and then super arts if you want damage. And if you, I mean, usually you just true arts, and then when you need to break, you hit them with an arts, super arts, and it'll do a lot of break. Like a lot. And usually for this, you're going to run Platina's true equip. And then as soon as you hit the art, you just use Platina's true equip. And then Vampire QD Rosetta is a break power up support equip. That's what I'd use there. This one, I don't really know. This is really good too because you can get in some situations where you can just break bosses like infinitely. If you just have a ton of Platina's true equips or a ton of large break physical equips, and you have like 8 physical equips, you just run this and then just boom, 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 and as soon as the thing comes back up, you just do it again, and you win. Just breaking forever. I'm gonna put her in A tier. No, I'm gonna put her in SS. She's just not gonna go past Chloe because I think Chloe's better because she can arch gen and break. Whereas Pentagon, while you're breaking, you can't be arch genning, which is kind of tragic. Oikatsu. At first, I thought Oikatsu was trash, but then I did all of Mono Fire runes, and Oikatsu is actually pretty good. Definitely very good for that. Because she has this stats 30% up. Heals. Damage res by 70%. She gives herself ACK up 150 and arts. Super art, it just hits really hard. And it has this, which helps on one of the floors on Mono Fire. I don't remember. She's really good on Mono Fire though. Passives. That's really good. This is also insane. Like, this is the biggest one I've seen. Delta has this, but with just her attack and 2%, and it hits really hard. Oikatsu does a lot of damage. Like a shit ton. But, I don't know. People just don't like her. Or him, I guess. Since it's a dude in a girl's body. But I'm gonna put Oikatsu in A tier, maybe. I can't. I gotta put him in B tier. But he's really good for fire runes. Okay, Momon, one of the best damage buffers in the game, especially for physical. Good slots. I'd be happier if this was the other way around. 40 arts, good. This is really good. Like, he's really good at buffing one unit. So if you put him to the left of the unit you're trying to buff, his passive, when he's above 80% HP, increase own damage and ally to the right of Momon's damage by 250%. And he can give them crit rate on the art. And then the true art is a physical damage buff, an accuracy buff, super art. This one, I don't like the super art as much because demons just aren't that good right now. Kind of buns. Humans are just winning the meta. So I don't really ever use his super art, but I definitely use his art and his true art, and then this passive is pretty much what makes Momon Momon. He's a really good damage buffer. I don't like him as much as Nabe though. Where did I put Nabe? Where did Nabe go? Why do I not see Nabe? Am I tweaking? Where's... Oh, I found her. Okay. He's gonna go under Nabe, I think, but he's gonna be an A tier. Okay, Demiurge. Demiurge, I think, would be really helpful on fire. I didn't get him on fire, mono fire runes, but he's a pretty niche unit. Like, he has this, which is really good. Status res is insane. A barrier. Like, you could probably use this on HK Roy's challenge quest. Arts, probably never use it. Probably just use the true arts, and then that's pretty good. His slots, I would like this to be a defense equip. That would be really nice, but it's not. And super art, this is just boosts fire allies damage. I mean, yeah, you can use it. I probably just use. I'd always keep this true art up though. Like, just make sure the damage barrier is always up. And 30 seconds of status res is insane. That's actually really good. Alright, but we're gonna put him B tier. Because he's just not doing enough to be A tier. If he had Archgen, he would probably be an A tier unit. But he don't. So, Eagle Eye. Okay, slots. Still don't like this. Good. Whatever. Skill's cool. This is pretty good on Mono Earth. Is really good on Mono Earth. 40% res on an art is kind of crazy. That's better than Shirou's. Except Shirou's gives you a barrier too. Okay. True art is pretty much like, I would never use this unless I'm gonna get frozen or paralyzed. But still, I don't know, I'd probably just have precautions other than the true art. I would probably never use this. Super art, this would be really good, especially with Valdora, who's gonna come out soon. She's gonna work really well with him. She's not gonna be hitting as hard, but he's gonna be hitting hard because he's an earth dragon that does magic damage. So that's gonna be crazy. Oh, and you set her as the leader. That's 100% Earth allies damage up. That's nuts. Yeah, she's really good. The only part about her that makes her not as good is her being magic, because right now there's like I don't think there's any ascended magic Earth units. I think Pola is physical. I don't think there's yeah. You're just gonna have to wait till Veldora. Like right now, I'd say she's B. If you put her on Mono Earth, I'd say she's A. If you had Veldora, I'd say she's SS. So I'm gonna put her in A because you just like even if you don't have Mono Earth, this Super Art is still gonna help a lot. 6 hearts a second and magic damage 200% up. Like she's better than Ainz. Hate Ainz. But Mono Earth with Veldora, she's gonna be really good. Alright, this is my favorite damage dealer in the game. By far the best. Slots, great. This is his true equip. This is any defense equip you need. This is Grief. You win the game. Skill 60 arts if it crits. Arts damage and skill CT by 130%. So you can just get this skill all the time. Like every time you come out of an art, you have the skill ready because of this. So what you're going to do with this unit is you're going to use 3 true arts in art, and then you're going to super art twice, art, super art twice, art, super art twice. That's how you use him. And he is the hardest hitting unit in the game, and it's not even close. Like, when I read this, it is stupid. 75% super crit, 130% damage, 130% skill CT, and on his super art, it's a 190,000% multiplier, increases own crit rate by 100%, and reduces enemies' phys res by 150%. So, and the passive of when he's not in status element, attack and act 100% up. This unit is insane. He hits so hard, and it's not even close. Like, I've done damage tests with pretty much all the units I have. The only thing I think that could come close to him is Summer Ilia spamming super art with DL Rim doing damage, and even that I don't think that's beating it, because like I've gotten him to almost 5 billion damage on the free practice. He's insane. He hits so hard, and on some content, it's just like on the Nova Crest Palace stage 3 where you're not supposed to be able to do that much damage unless you break it. He can do it in like 2 super arts. You get to the threshold. 4 super arts, the boss is dead. It's insane. I think he can almost do the threshold in 1 super art. If you buff him enough, if you get your equip timing right, you can do it in 1 super art. He hits so hard. It's not fair. And his I'd say these are like the perfect damage dealers slots. By far the best damage dealer in the game. Alright, now the best support in the game. Hoka. I don't think it's even close. This is the best support unit in the game. Personally, I use him pretty much in everything, unless it's like I'm running a specific like mono fire comp. Any mono comps, I don't use him unless it's mono water, and then otherwise I'm just using him. He's the best support unit in the game. He's got. I have him LB7, so I have this heal too. Perfect slots with the LB7. You shouldn't LB7 him. I don't think it's worth it. I don't know why I did it. I just did it because I have him lucked 120. He's the best support unit in the game. Got him LB7. Got to get my 4+, my 5+s on him. He'll be my. This is like my favorite unit. He's insane. So he has a heal. He's a pseudo healer, especially with the if you get Beta's equip, her support equip. It's like the Epsilon plushie. He just becomes a healer. His true equip heals. He's pretty much just a healer too. So with him, he's pretty much just a super art bot. You just use the super art, and then if you don't have crit, anybody who does crit on the team, you use the true art. But if you don't have 2 archgeners, you can get away with just using Hoka. He's that good. But if you have 2 archgeners, you can use his super art and his true art, and you're fine. His art though, if you do have somebody who has crit, I would just use his super art and his art to give them AC and attack up. And then his passive, he gets equipped CT. So I have an equipped CT crest and a magic circuit Y crest on him, and he effectively has 25% support or 25% equipped CT, which is insane. Like just by himself, 25% is not fair. Like so, a 40-second equip only takes 30 seconds to refresh. Max HP 15% up is pretty good. Yeah, he's just the best support equip in the game, and it's not even close. I mean, I guess it is kind of close, but still, it's not. Alrighty, next unit, Gamagori. I don't like him because he just kills himself. True art, this is what you use him for. Consumes 2% of max HP for 30 seconds, and for 40 seconds he gets 30% Fizz Res and a 35k barrier. His super art, you use it for flinch res and damage ignore or defense ignore and a lot of damage. But basically, you just want to get him low HP so he does more damage, and then he hits harder. That's pretty much his thing. You get him weak, he does more damage. He's a tank, so his damage barrier. I think he gets more tanky as he dies too. Yeah, you put a Truth of Eternity on him, he's gonna be tanking really hard. But I just don't like that he kills himself, like at all. Like if you need a tank and he's your only tank, you use him, he's fine. But I don't like that he kills himself. It's not my favorite mechanic. Alright, Nonon. Where's Nonon? Am I tweaking? Right here. Craziest SP art ever. Magic support. Pretty good slots. She's really good on Mono Human Light, I think it is. Yeah, Mono Human Light. She helps everybody a lot. Other than that, she's just not that good. Like, you just gotta use her on Mono Human Light. I'm gonna put her in B2. Like, if you have her on Mono Human, if you have a Mono Human Light team, or like a Mono Light team, like SGL, Ilia, Nonon, and I don't know, like Chloe? Yeah, then I'd probably put her in like A, or maybe SS. She'd be really good on that team, but she's just not that good otherwise. Summer Ilia. Let's see. The best magic buffer in the game. The super art is stupid. I would just spam that forever. Do absurd amount of damage with that. That's pretty much all I would ever use her for. I'm going to put her in B because other than that, she doesn't really do that much. And then Summer Miyu. Right, this is one of my favorite units in the game. Basically, she just has 200 arts up every battle and attack 50% up, maxing at 300%. True arts, this is what you use. It's stackable 80% damage buff for 50 seconds, and it gives everybody 30 arts. One of the best units in the game, definitely an SS. I personally would put her in SSS. I'm going to just because she's the fastest unit in the game, and it's a buff. Whereas Jay's is a debuff, so that doesn't go through stages. Hers goes through stages. So if it's like a 6-stage quest, you use a true art every single stage. By the end of it, you're gonna have you use a super art on the last stage, you're gonna have a 250% attack up, and you're gonna have what, like a 400% physical damage buff. That's stupid. This is the best unit you could possibly get at the start of the game. She's insane. If you have her and Jay, that's like a match made in heaven. That's insane. Like you could clear most of the content in the game with just this unit. It's stupid how good she is. Like she should be an SS, but I'm putting her in SSS just because of how fast and like what's the word? How convenient she is. Summer Chloe. Best healer in the game, I think, except maybe Summer Liza now. Summer Liza might heal more. I don't really know. Yeah, she definitely does because it's 10% heal. But Summer Chloe, if she had a support equip instead of this physical one, she would be way better. But she doesn't because she is an Archgener, especially for light allies. I think she's got to be a Type E Archgener, which is a little tragic because she won't work with Hoka. But her super art is really good for human allies. It's 250% damage buff. Still, I would rather use Hoka unless you like need a healer because her art is a cleanse. Oh, it doesn't have a cleanse on it, but it does have status res, which is really good. So I'd probably use like True Art if you need status res, and if you don't need status res, just do True Art Super Art. And then this passive heal all allies HP by 400% or 400 a second. That's really good. It's just like insane heals. I'm gonna put her in SS. Like most people would say she's the best from the or the second best from the Fate crossover. I think she's probably the third best, just because Summer Miyu is the most convenient unit in the game, and I don't think it's close. All right, Bazette, Summer Bazette. She's cool and all. She's just cool because her super art, she has like a parry mechanic pretty much. So if the boss is using an art, it gives a 500% arts damage buff, which is insane. A 200% ACK up, which is nuts. If not, it's just 250 and 100, which is still a lot of damage. True Art is cool if you need to tank. Otherwise, there's no reason you should use it. Like 80% res, pretty good, but I just got that on Hoka. You just use Hoka's True Art, and she's hitting way harder. And you just use a Super Art. She does have a heal and Fizz res by 20. It's cool. She also has a defense ignore, which is really nice. She's gonna hit really hard, and her animation's really fast. I'm gonna put her in B tier though, just because like she's pretty much just like a super art nuke, and then that's it. All right, Louvia and Rin. If you there is one equip that makes this character like insane. So you put a blessed necklace here, her true equip here, and then Divine Arachnid's Tears for mines, and she becomes the best nuking unit in the game. And it's not close. Like, Divine Arachnid's Tears, it gives her 120 arts and takes away 99% of her HP. You'd be like, why would you ever want that? But that's why you have the Blessed Necklace to make sure she doesn't die. And then this passive, when near death, increase all allies' arts by 200. Additionally, for 15 seconds, increase all allies' damage res. That's cool and whatever. But the all allies' arts by 200. So she's going to get 320 arts, and everybody on the team's going to get 200. And then everybody else can just be like nuke buffing, and you might need like one or two, probably only one Gensh Pench, and you can just nuke everything. And because you use this super art right away, damage res by 100%, and when she's unaffected by status ailment, earth res by 100%. So if you're using an earth nuker, like War God Fen or Uzu, this nuke is going to just melt everything. So because, like, okay, so if you don't have Divine Arachnid's Tears, I'd put her in A, just because she is a really good damage buffer. But if you do have Divine Arachnid's Tears, I'd put her in SS, just because she is, like, the fastest nuker in the game. Alright. I don't know why there's two of her. So we're just going to set one right there. And then Summer Sakura. Slots. I would like this to be a support, considering she's like a damage buffer, and yeah, she's kind of like Momon, but for magic instead of physical. That's pretty much it. She's actually exactly Momon, but for magic instead of physical. So she's just better with DL Rim. I do. Wait, what's her? 250. I think Momon's is, or what? Hers is 150. I think Momon's is 250. But she also has 5 arts a second. I think I'm gonna put her in like the same spot as Momon. And her what leader? Yeah. So you could use them on the same unit. But I don't think that would really work because they would just be, that's too much damage buffing, not enough arts. Unless you have like Hoka on the team. So like if you had Momon, Summer Sakura, DL Rim, and Hoka, that team would hit like crazy. But then like Momon's not really doing anything because DL Rim's magic. So Momon you want on a physical team. So like with Shadow probably. Maybe Vox. Yeah, I think Summer Sakura might be better than Momon. Because she has a magic damage, magic res. Does she have AC up though? I don't think she does. So if you need AC, Momon would be a little bit better. But these are pretty much like pretty similar units. Alright, Shadow, the best dark unit in the game. They're like, oh, but what about DK Vox? No, this man's better. This man is better. DK Vox has a 60% heal. Don't care. This man has stackable physical and archgen and more archgen in his passive. Best dark unit in the game. SS, top of SS. Almost SSS. Not quite because the dark units in the game are getting power gripped. MDD isn't that good anymore. Be honest, mono fire, mono water, both better. Uh, Mono Dark's probably the third best, just because the other two don't really have tanks. If Mono Earth had a tank, it'd be better than Mono Dark. And if Mono Light had a tank, it'd be better than Mono Dark because Mono Light has SGL, Isliid, um, it has Hazuki, it has Summer Chloe, which is the best healer in the game probably. I mean, Liza's cool, but Chloe has more archgen, more heals. I don't know if Liza has a cleanse. We'll see. But Shadow's definitely the best dark unit in the game. Like he has stackable super art, defense ignore, and 200 damage up for allies not in status element. He's nuts. He hits really hard. And the evasion rate. If the boss has evasion, this just like completely gets rid of it. Over like 3 true arts. And it just hits so hard. And 5 arts a second is crazy passively. For the every dark unit on the team, 5 arts a second passively. Stupid. Alpha is kind of just a replacement for Hoka if you didn't get him. Except she doesn't have a support equip. Like her equips are way worse than Hoka's. Like you won't know how good 2 support equips is until you have 2 good support equips on 1 unit. It's not fair. So the true art, you just use that to get the crit res and some archgen. It's almost as good as Hoka's archgen, a little bit worse. I like to think about it this way. So having this 6 arts a second compared to Hoka's 7 arts a second, it's like Hoka has an extra support equip because there's support equips that give you 1 art a second for the whole team. It's like Hoka has an extra support equip over her archgen. And that's just insane. So 1 arts a second is a big difference. Super art, this one I don't like it as much because I don't know how well you're gonna keep this up. You definitely could swap between these, but that's pretty slow for like that's gonna be 100 and then like 20 seconds later 200, 20 seconds later 300, 20 seconds later 400. But then from there on it's a 400% physical damage buff, which is really good. But I'd still rather use Hoka just because he has the support equips. He has more archgen. He has a bigger, like his buff is instant 300% instead of over time it'll get to 400. But this passive is really good. 50% damage res for 10 seconds. Like, this is going to survive a nuke by itself. Like, endless, this might just if you have a little bit of DR, this will full clear endless. Alpha is she's not even close to Hoka. Like Hoka up here, Alpha like I don't know. If you have Hoka, you just never use her. But Alpha's probably like A, maybe SS. I'll put her in SS. Beta, 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 beta. All right, Beta's busted. Beta's like Shirou, but an archgener instead of a damage dealer. So she's even more. She's less tanky, but more supportive than Shirou. And Shirou's more tanky and does more damage. So honestly, I'd rather have Beta in most situations than Shirou, because Beta can be an archgener too. Cause like, and if you run them together, they stack and they're insane. Like it's stupid how good they are together. You just have so much DR. You have archgen. You have damage. The only issue, like her super art, it's magic damage on water allies, like 320% up, but the water allies just don't be doing magic damage. Like, or Aristella does, and Summer Ilia does. Summer Ilia has a ton of magic damage, but like, I don't have either of them, so I wouldn't really know. But if you have them both, they'd probably do a lot of damage. This is tragic, again. But this passive, you need to always remember about this passive. Increase ally to the left of Beta's damage by 150%. So you just put her on the right side of like HK Roy or whoever your damage dealer is, and they're gonna be hitting. She's gonna be doing true arts. That's pretty much all I would ever use her for. Just true art, swap them. Art if you need a damage barrier. If like the boss nukes it, you just hit that. And she has a little bit of healing. She's a really good for mono water. And because mono water, like these 4 water units in mono water is the best team in the game, and it's not even close. Like not at all. That team is busted. Like that team's never gonna die. They have 2 pseudo healers, 2 of them. They have 2 tanks, and they have 3 damage buffers. And they have 2 damage dealers. It's an insane team. And this man right here has 100% break up for water allies. So this team is busted. I have Shirou and Hoka. So if I had these 2, I would be so happy. But I didn't get them. I spent a lot of gems and a lot of money to get HK Roy. If you want to go watch that video. It was the most tragic occurrence ever. I'm going free to play after that. Alright, Delta. And then after Delta, we're going to do the Valentine's units. So where's Delta? Right here. Delta's basically just the best non-crit damage dealer in the game. And I'm just going to put her in A right now. I think she does do more damage than Shalltear. Even though Shalltear has crit. She has a defense ignore. And she just... this true art is insane. If it had the 20 arts or... I think, yeah, Summer Miyu and Shadow, they might, I think there's a 30. They both generate 30 art on their true art. It's kind of the same thing, except it doesn't do the 30. Which would be really nice. But it's a stackable debuff and buff, which is really good. Her arts, I rarely ever use it. It's whatever. She's a pseudo healer a little bit. Usually I just spam the true art, and then if I need a giant chunk of damage, I just use the super art. So like on the Nova Crest Palace, I pretty much just spam the true art the whole time. And then just like super art just to kill the boss, because it does so much damage. Because of this passive right here. Increase own damage by 2% of own attack divided by 100. That's just like, if you have 5,000 attack, I think that's like 100% damage up, which is insane. And then this passive is insane. Max HP, she gets 10 arts a second, passively. That's nuts. Like if you got her and you're doing Summoner's Road, she could probably like solo the second one. Or she could definitely solo the first one. She might be able to solo the second one. You just use one super art and it's just gone. It'll just kill it. It's 300% damage up with a defense ignore. That's a lot of damage. And 100% damage up from this passive because you're gonna easily be able to get her to 5,000 attack. Her slots, I think this is the best slots for her, except this shit pissed me off. I don't know what I would want here though. Like if you got I just run all three of her like Delta equips, like True Delta's bodysuit, and Delta's brace. And those are probably like the best equips you can run on her, and it hits hard. She's one of my favorite damage dealers. Okay, where is we're gonna do the other one first actually. We're gonna do Sistina first. So I don't have a thing for them to put them. I'll just tell you where I'm gonna put them. So Valentine, Sistina. She's a tank and a taunt tank in the same unit. This passive is really good. She heals her own HP by 100. It's pretty good. It's pretty good. But she's just not on the same level as Shirou and Beta. Like if you don't have Shirou or Beta, she's a pretty good pickup. But if you do have them, there's literally no reason ever I would use her over them because they're water and they just do her job better. So if I did have her, I'd probably put her in like A. And then Liza, the best healer in the game, probably. Quips are very good. This would be better if it was a heal or another support, but it's not. Whatever. 60 arts, pretty good. Cure is awesome, but it doesn't have um the status res. If it had a cure and a res, it would be way better. But it doesn't, so whatever. And then the true arts. This is the main part of her kit. You pretty much just spam true arts. Because it only lasts for 10 seconds, you're probably going to have to use this all the time to keep the healing up. And it's giving the whole team 50 arts gen. So the way I like to think of this is it's like distributing the arch gen because you're giving up 200 arch gen to distribute 200 arch gen to the whole team. So it's pretty good. It's pretty good. And then the super art, I mean, yeah, you can use this, but there's not that many gods. There's like SGL. I don't even know if there is many more gods. I know Summer Iris is a god, but I mean, you're not going to use these two on the same team. I really do think it's just SGL. She's a god, I think. Maybe. And I think that's all the gods. Yeah, but like, I wouldn't really ever use her super art. I would just use her true art, and then use the art if I need to cure status ailments. She also has this, which gives her even more healing. She's just the best healer in the game. She's pretty good. Like for new units, definitely if you get her, she's gonna carry you through a lot of the game because you're just gonna be able to heal through everything. So I'd probably put her in. Um, I'd probably put her in SS. I'd imagine. So this is Liza right here. Okay, now we're gonna reorder everything. So right here, Summer Sakura is right there just because there's two of them, and I put her down there because why not? And then these two, DK Vox, I think is better than Summer Iris because Summer Iris you can just put Hoka instead of Summer Iris, and he's just better except the DR. And then this is just undisputedly the worst ascended unit in the game. Actually tragic. Alright, and then these ones. I don't like her. I don't like him. She's cool. She doesn't do that much. I don't like bleed units. They're not good. I think this is fine the way this is. You might put Pola at the top. Just because she's cooler than the rest of them. And then we're gonna do this, which is gonna be like, let's see. These four are pretty much just damage dealers. She's pretty good because she's an archgener. Oikatsu's pretty good because he just does a lot. He be doing it all. Bazette pretty much just does damage. Gamagori, tank, damage dealer. I'm going to put him in front of Bazette, but I'm going to put it like that. Chobay is a breaker. I think, yeah. Demiurge is pretty niche unit. I'm going to put him like, yeah, right there. I think Saiger's better than Bazette. I think Bazette's better than Shalltear because she just does it in like one hit. Same reason. Shalltear's more selfish. I'm gonna put it like that because she has more aura. She's just cooler. I'm gonna put him above Shalltear too. I'm gonna put her above Shalltear too because Shalltear is just completely selfish, and she at least has like a shield for the team. Yeah. I don't like Shalltear that much. She's too selfish. Alright, and then up to A tier. Evil Eye is really good. Underrated, definitely. Yuzuriha is definitely better than Evil Eye, though. Sagiri, probably better than Evil Eye. Demon Lord Rimuru. Yeah, I'm gonna keep her there for now. Hazuki's better. Delta, not better than Demon Lord Rimuru, but if the boss has crit res, definitely take Delta over Demon Lord Rimuru. Diablo, I'm gonna say is better than Demon Lord Rimuru, just because Demon Lord Rimuru is like, actually, nah, I'm gonna put him right there. Nabe, I think, is better than both of them. Summer Sakura, I'm gonna leave it like this, and then Aristella Orbis, I'm gonna put right there. Ilia, I'm gonna put right there. Luvia and Rin, I'm gonna put Ainz like right here. I still hate him, but he is an archgener, so he helps a lot. And then her, I'm gonna put her like right there. And then use, I don't know, Evil Eye. If you have if you had Veldora, if Earth Magic gets better, she's definitely a better unit. She's in SS, but that's just not the case. Shadow's the best SS unit. Sunraku's really good. Summer Chloe's really good. I'm gonna put Summer Chloe over Sunraku. Actually, no, I'm not. Sunraku's just faster. I'm gonna put, yeah, I'll leave it like that. And then I'm gonna put Kiri right there. I'm gonna leave that like that. Jay can stay there. Uzu is just damage, but he is just the best at it. I'm gonna put him at the bottom of the list. And then again, Luvia and Rin, assuming you have Divine Arachnid's Tears, one of the best in the game, but I'm gonna put her at the bottom just because if you don't have it. Otherwise, I'd say this is pretty good. Forte on Mono Dark is like up here. But not on Mono, I mean, you wouldn't even use her not on Mono Dark, so I'm just gonna put her there. And then this is gonna be my order for these units. I think SGL is the worst SSS just because there's no magic units. And then I'd say this is, yeah, this is the finished list. This is it. I'm gonna close this. This is the final result. Just to say this again, she's here because there was an extra one up there, right there. These two are here because they're only good on their mono teams. And this is the final list. That's about it. See ya!